What is going on, everyone? My name is Jax, and welcome back to the channel. I am so excited to make this motion comic breakdown. I have been saying Kraven has been coming to the game for a bit. I mean, ever since the new State of the Battle Realm map, I was like, dude, there was 3 spots in the State of Battle Realm map, like 3 Spider-Man villain spots, and one of them has to be Kraven. I mean, he's been teased multiple times. It's pretty crazy. I mean, Kabam himself talked about interest about Kraven. And you know what's crazy? Like when the root mechanic, because obviously he has the root mechanic. I said when the root mechanic came out, I bet you this is for Kraven. I didn't even know Kraven was like on the State of Battle Realm map because it hadn't been updated yet. So like that's so crazy that I literally called it. I was like, dude, I bet this is for traps. And who's the best trapster? Like that's Kraven the Hunter. So it's actually insane. We also have 2 other Spider-Man villains joining the game next year. So I wonder if this motion comic at least teases them, or maybe in the event quest it teases them, because we've got a little bit of teases throughout the Spider-Man events before. Kraven's been obviously teased before, so it's pretty crazy that he's actually in the game. This motion comic is pretty quick like the other motion comics, but it's got a lot of jam-packed Easter eggs of Spider-Man villains, heroes, and all in between. So I want to say, just because they tease these characters doesn't necessarily mean they're going to join the game, because I have a list of over 200 teased characters, and like 1 joins the game every couple months. So, you know, they can't add every character in the game in the next couple months, you know, so eventually, yes, we'll probably have all Spider-Man villains, but that could be years away. But yeah, this motion comic is called Kings of the Jungle, and basically the motion comic, or the event quest, is about a flower basically just destroying stuff in the Savage Lands, and Kraven is hired by S.H.I.E.L.D. to investigate it and find out the source of the flower. And it's a whole investigation of like, hey, what's S.H.I.E.L.D. doing? Because S.H.I.E.L.D. gets into some shady stuff for sure. So it'll be interesting. I haven't read the motion comic, but I haven't read the event quest, so it'd be pretty cool to break that down just in like a week. Get that out as soon as I can. And yeah, I have a little ad, not really an ad, but I also had like the Spider-Man No Way Home G Fuel flavor come out. I just recorded that video earlier, so if you want to check that out, get yourself some Spider-Man No Way Home merch, go check it out. Alright, starting off, we see obviously Kraven. He's like in like this, almost like a cabin, like, you know, it's got that nice fireplace heating up the room, and he's kind of talking about like he's kind of tired of being Kraven the Hunter, and he's talking about like, hey, I'm tired of, you know, hunting that same spider. And then boom, it shows 3 Spider-Man. Like, holy crap. It shows, obviously, where my webcam is, that's Tobey Maguire's mask from Spider-Man 3, where he had the symbiote attached to his regular suit. And then to the left of that is Jackal Mask, which is pretty cool because Jackal's actually Ben Reilly, the clone of Spider-Man, who's the Scarlet Spider. Which is cool because Kabam Gabe talked about it years ago, saying Jackal's one of his favorite villains and he'd love to see him join the game. So it's pretty awesome. I mean, he also said Lizard was joining the game sooner than later. I mean, maybe that'll happen pretty soon. And then obviously we see a Fantastic Four logo. Since he's talking about Spider-Man specifically, I think this is bombastic. It's not the same from the comics, but you know, Kabam do switch things up just for the effect of it. And I think Marcus Pack on Twitter said it's probably due to the lighting. I mean, this is a very dark motion comic, so having like a black Fantastic Four logo probably wouldn't fit this motion comic. And moving on, oh my goodness, we see the Hobgoblin's hood, which, dude, Hobgoblin, man, oh my goodness, man. I know he's just like the same old, you know, a little bit different than regular Green Goblin, but dude, he's been teased by Kabam as well, so it's pretty crazy. Chameleon Mask, which is pretty awesome. Chameleon obviously kind of goes from that shape-shifting mechanic, which Kabam have said multiple times over the years, even when I interviewed Kabam Gabe, that's still not, we can't have shapeshifters in the contest. We do have the scrolls, but they don't shapeshift like playing against them. They just are that character who they shapeshifted to. That's it. So one day we'll have shapeshifting, and hey, that's 3 shapeshifters we'd have in the contest if, you know, Chameleon does eventually show up. I mean, it would be cool. Maybe he's actually in this event quest and we don't even know it. It'd be pretty cool. And the next 2, obviously the Chameleon's Mask, we have the Spider Slayer from Alistair Smythe, a classic Spider-Man villain. You know, he's a pretty cool villain, not gonna lie. And moving on, it's kind of like going around the room, and we see 2 jars. One's obviously jar full of water. Hydro Man, I love it, man. We've got Hydro Man, I think, teased back in the Far From Home event, because obviously that was like a projection by Mysterio, same with the movie. And then we also had, I think it was whenever they were teasing which Spider-Man villain was joining the game, Hydro Man was one of those candidates. So it's pretty interesting that they are looking at that. We haven't really had a water character since Namor, so it'd be really cool. And the big one below that is Sandman, baby. Oh my goodness. I literally said it's going to be Kraven, Lizard, or Sandman is going to join the game this December. And hey, baby, we finally got another tease for him. If you don't know, I actually interviewed Kabam Gabe, and he talked about, hey, they messed with the engine, updating it. Like, hey, we can, like, they can do Sandman. Like, they've messed around with it. So at some point they've done Sandman. Which I've also said, like, it doesn't necessarily mean Sandman's like confirmed 100%, because, like, hey, Spiral was built in the contest at one point, but she never joined the game. So and that's just because of a rigging problem. I think Kabam Mike said that on Twitter not too long ago, talking about specifically it, which is really cool. So yeah, it's pretty sick that we have another Sandman. Man, I love Sandman. Hopefully we get into the game next year, because we do have 2 other spots. I think that's Lizard and the Sandman, but we will see. And then boom, it like goes into like the full screen of his room, and wow, man, wow, there is a lot to unpack here. We kind of saw most of it, but it literally looks like we got a Rhino horn. Obviously, Rhino's already in the game. We have a lot of these symbiote heads, symbiote heads. A lot of people are like, "Oh, those are little Stevie." No, there's only one little Stevie, not 4 or 5. I think is how many there are. Which there are 5 classes. So I think these are all symbioids, which there are a ton of them in the contest due to the collector and the Maestro. But also we also get like a helmet above Kraven. This, like, I was like, dude, like, whose villain head is this? I was like, is this like Warstar? Like, whose is this? And thanks to my good friends of the Futurism Society, they were like, that's the Spider, the SPDR suit helmet that it belongs to Penny Parker. And I was like, oh, duh, that's the Spider. So yeah, that's obviously Penny Parker's thing. So yeah, I was like thinking like Spider-Man villain, not Spider hero. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, like, there's not really any other teases. I mean, we got the full Hobgoblin cloak in there too. Like a couple other animals, like game animals. Got a vulture, a fox, a stag. It's pretty cool. I mean, I think this is really cool. I don't know what does this mean? So, but yeah, the motion comic ends, and that's what we have. So it's pretty cool. I mean, literally, I really hope we do get Sandman. I think it'd be really awesome to join the game. And I mean, no Lizard tease, what I think is interesting, because we had like no Sandman in like the candidates for December, and then we had Lizard in that, I think. But no Lizard in this, which seems weird. Like, I would assume he'd have like the tail of Lizard, but he doesn't. So maybe in the event quest he'll mention it. But anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching my breakdown. I love you guys so much. We'll be doing some really cool stuff. I'm off of college for the break, so we're gonna do some really cool content. Hope to see you all in my next video. Peace out, everybody, and have a great night.